Hi, it's Leela, the proud Poly Kinky Queer Slut. Today's question is, when is too much, and how do you avoid getting caught up? This was asked specifically in respect to sex, but I'm going to answer it in a wider arc, in a wider field, because I'm a person that goes hard at things and gets caught up in things, and I think that this is relevant anytime you find yourself obsessing about a thing or needing a thing and going at it so hard that it becomes consuming. Um, for me, a lot of times that kind of thing is like getting the A in class. It can become consuming for me. Doing a good job at work can become all consuming for me. Um, and I get caught up in it and I just get like looping around, like failure around it. Um, so, my best advice for that is is when you find yourself getting caught up in something, take the moment to pause and flip the script on yourself. Allow yourself to get caught up in it, especially mentally, especially with your focus, because we humans, we're paradoxical creatures, right? So many times, you want to do better at your job, take a break, take a vacation day. We're paradoxical in these ways. So, if you're finding yourself caught up in sex in any aspect of your life, it's probably because you have some kind of deep need for something around that. Something about that is satisfying a part of you in a way that you deeply need, because you're putting your time and effort and energy into that in this obsessive kind of caught up kind of compulsive way. So when you find yourself doing that, one, focusing on it and giving yourself permission to go into that space removes that kind of taboo fascination in your brain from it. So for example, this can absolutely be about sex, but I'm gonna make it about something else. So for example, getting that rave review at work, right? So obsessing about getting the project done in such a way that everybody is gonna love it and it's gonna be successful and all of that. If I'm stressing about that, if I'm caught up in that, if I'm staying up late at night thinking about that, if I'm waking up with dreams about it, if I stop that and just interrupt and instead do some breathing, do some meditating, for lack of a better word, just go for a walk and think about, okay, I'm going to give myself this window to obsess about this. And then as you're obsessing about it, as you're going through the all of the talk tracks, try to apply that like mindful meditative self to it, and ask yourself why. Observe what you're doing. Ask yourself why. Why are you doing that? Curiosity is the anti-shame. Curiosity is like the antidote to so many of life's problems, because once you become curious about what you want, about what's going on with your brain, then you're looking at it with productive fascination and as a problem, and not as something you're stuck in, but as something that is an adventure, an exciting thing, an exploration. So explore your obsession. Obsession can be beautiful, and I'm speaking to my kinky friends out there. I know you all know how beautiful it can be to really allow yourself to play with your obsession, to allow yourself play with getting caught up and that power. So give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to look at why you're caught up in that and to see what needs you have that obsession is filling. Not the thing itself, not what need is getting that project done at work filling. What need is me caring so much about that filling for me? What need is my waking up thinking about it in the middle of the night fulfilling for me? And is this a productive way to fill that need? I'm not saying that you're going to necessarily like change your life this way, but it does lead to some really fascinating answers about what you actually want and what you actually need. And I have found that doing this kind of work allows me to approach those needs in ways that actually satisfy them as opposed to in ways that don't. Because most of the time, when you do get up in that obsessive thing, that I have to kind of mindset, it's because you need to get some satisfaction. You have wants and desires and needs in yourself that are not being met. And whatever that objective is of that thing you're obsessing about isn't going to fill them either. So by looking at that more closely, you can figure out what actually does fill that piece. And then that lets you put that weight down and not obsess about that and not get so caught up in it. A few things about sex specifically. Sex is a physiological need and we have desires. And if you're not getting what you need physically, then that is a different, that has a chemical reaction in your brain. And you may well just find that once you actually start having sex the way that you want to, you don't have that obsession anymore. That's something that happens for a lot of folks, where once that's satisfied, your brain just doesn't have that need anymore. But if it does, then it's probably about something else, and figuring that out. And so my advice is always not to shy away from those things, to not shy away from the too much, but instead to go there in a mindful way. And that allows you to get through. It turns that roadblock into just a stop along your journey and lets you keep moving through. It's worked for me. And I very much have appreciated like the experience of having things like that were like roadblocks, caught up, stuck there. And then once you get past each of those, it feels so great. And again, good therapy helps. So if in doubt, get good therapy. It really does make a big difference in teaching the practical tools for how you do this, and also creating that container of a safe space to explore these things with a trained professional. That can really be helpful as well. So anyway, hope that helps. Thank you very much for listening. This is Leela, the proud Poly Kinky Queer Slut. Ask me anything at kinkyqueerslut@gmail.com. Have a great day.